Oh my goodness, I've been kidnapped, she thought as fear rang through her veins. She wondered who must have kidnapped her. The thought of her kidnappers killing her made a shiver run down her spine. She began to wonder who must have kidnapped her. She had no enemy. She's never offended anyone. The only enemies she had now were her husband, her best friend, and her mother-in-law. Probably one of them must have kidnapped her to kill her and get rid of her forever. No, I can't let them kill me. I can't lose my job, marriage, and roof over my head in one day and still lose my life. I need to get out of here, she thought as she struggled to loosen the rope used to tie her hands. Just then she heard noises coming from outside the room she was in, and suddenly the door to the room burst open and someone walked in and closed the door. Who's there? Hannah yelled in fear. She had seen someone enter the room and lock the door. She became scared. Suddenly she felt someone climb onto the bed and got on top of her. It wasn't anyone. It was a male figure. Let go of me! She yelled as she tried pushing the figure that was on top of her, but he was just very strong. He groaned softly and kissed her on her lips passionately. He kissed her breast, and suddenly he started ripping her clothes off while Hannah kept crying and begging for him to let her go, but he paid a deaf ear to her cries.
Stay still!
He muttered those words. It didn't sound like a request. It was a command. Hannah, who was already becoming weak, closed her eyes and suddenly lost consciousness. The crowd could be seen gathered in a particular area in the street of Atlanta, staring at a female figure who was lying unconscious on the ground with her clothes torn and half naked.
Oh my goodness, isn't that the wife of Jeff Mickelson? What happened to her? Oh my goodness, look at the blood all over her. I think she was raped. Do you think she's dead?
A lot of people talking and taking pictures. The noises from the surrounding woke her up, the sound of cameras clicking. Hannah opened her bleary eyes, and then she could see the crowd surrounding her. She felt so weak. She felt her entire body was so heavy that she could barely move them. Her vision wasn't clear, so she couldn't see clearly, but she could hear cameras shuffling. A male figure is seen sitting inside his office, staring at his laptop in front of him. He rubs his hands on his forehead, trying to focus, but he just couldn't. The pleas of the lady he's forced himself on came running into his head like a flash. It kept distracting him from working. He just couldn't get her to plead and cry off his mind. He closed his laptop and sighed softly. Just then, his best friend Liam walked inside his office, with his hands tucked inside the pocket of his trousers. Liam works in his company as his managing director and assistant.
Brandon, are you all right?
Liam, who noticed the look on Brandon's face, asked as he walked in.
Did you find anything about the girl?
Brandon asked softly, and Liam sighed softly.
No, I didn't.
Liam broke the news to him, and he slammed his hands on his table, making Liam flinch.
What the hell do you mean you didn't find her, or anything about her? You brought the girl and drugged me to sleep with her. You took her away before I was awake and dumped her in God knows where, and you're telling me you didn't find her?
Brandon yelled. Liam stared at his friend. He was looking as furious as ever. He wondered why. Liam believes he's done Brandon so much good by giving her a girl on his birthday. Brandon has always been a workaholic. He didn't even have the chance to be with any girl rather than to satisfy himself. In summary, he hates women in general. And he gave him a girl to sleep with as a birthday gift, and he yelled at him, Liam thought and scoffed.
I didn't bring the girl. I paid some guys to help me bring some random girl, and they brought her. According to them, they saw her walking by the street, and they abducted her. They could barely recognize her. I didn't even have the opportunity to see her before she was taken away. I asked the men to drop her off where they found her, which they did. No one recognizes her. It would be difficult to know her true identity.
Whoever you paid to abduct her, pay them to find her and get out.
If there was one thing Brandon hated in his life was women. He didn't want to have anything to do with them. But now his friend had forced him into one. He needed to find the lady and make up for what he's done. He would compensate her with money. That would be the best, and he would cut her off of his life completely.